Good day. My name's John Corbett. Sadly, I can't be with you right now to explain this platform Geolive, but I'm hoping that this screencast will provide some of the sorts of ideas that went behind the creation of the tool, which has become a part of this collaborative project with the Office of Research Services. I'm on sabbatical right now, so you'll have to forgive me not actually being present. So what I'm going to do in this very short presentation is to talk very briefly about participatory mapping, its importance to my research, and also how it really provided a sort of foundation for the work that's created this project with ORS. I can talk a little bit about the Spice Lab, where we actually programmed and created this tool, talk about this product, Geolive, and some of its broader objectives, and then talk very briefly about the project working with the Office of Research Services, because I know that between Kirsten and Nick, they probably give you a much better idea of how the tool actually works. So to begin with, talking a little bit about participatory mapping. Participatory mapping really is a process which brings together people and enables them through the sort of common language of cartography to communicate that relationship between the place and the people. Often you end up with a very sort of distinctive product which shows a very different understanding of a space or a landscape than you would get from a mainstream map. The types of tools used for participatory mapping vary hugely. It can be ephemeral mapping, in other words, sort of scratching maps into the ground on the sand. For example, this is a project in Kenya that I was involved with, trying to locate where water pumps should be located, right the way through to the use of and deployment of very high-tech mapping tools such as geographic information systems. But fundamental to participatory mapping is that at the base of it, it's the understanding that maps are no longer simply created by experts, but rather they become the products and they contain the information of people themselves. Now, within a sort of more high-tech environment, the Web 2 revolutions provided us with all sorts of opportunity within a sort of mapping context to bring together the social networking capabilities of Web 2 together with the sort of cartographic communication potential of maps to really start to sort of explore participatory mapping in a whole new set of contexts. So in the Center for Social, Spatial and Economic Justice, together with what we call ourselves the Spice Lab, which is sort of like the spatial wing of the CSSEJ, together with a whole range of amazing graduate students and programmers such as Nick, who will be talking to you today, we've become involved in a number of community-based research collaborations which have enabled us to be able to develop a tool that we've called Geolive. Geolive basically is a web-based participatory mapping application. It allows users to be able to crowdsource, and by crowdsource I mean essentially that people from any location can contribute their own spatial information through a series of different media, whether it's your cell phone or whether it's your web browser, but essentially to contribute or crowdsource their locational-based information. What we can then also do with Geolive, unlike a lot of cloud-based tools, is that we can actually begin to analyze the content of the information that's actually contributed as well. We designed the tool to be straightforward to use, robust. We wanted multiple users to be able to use the tool simultaneously. And so really, it hopefully will become a tool which would enable people to be able to share spatially located information. We've been really lucky over the last 3 or 4 years that we've developed Geolive to be able to work on a number of very interesting projects, whether it's with First Nations communities, such as this collaborative project between Christine Schreier in the Community Culture and Global Studies, who's been working with the Taku River Tlingit up in northern British Columbia, where we've deployed an instance of Geolive, through to working with kayaking groups along the west coast, working at trying to mark out camping spots and points where they can actually put their kayaks into the water, right the way through to a project that we have working at Southern Cross University in Australia, where we're trying to link together researchers within the university together with people in the community around local food related issues. These are just 3 examples of a number of different projects that we're actually working on. But one of the most exciting projects for us right now is this project of working close to home with the Office of Research Services. So what we're hoping to do is to generate a tool which will really demonstrate kind of the extent and the breadth of some of the fascinating research being done at UBC Okanagan. We're hoping it'll become an entry point for people from outside of the organization to come in and have an idea about what's actually going on. And through doing so, obviously, it'll allow us to actually promote the research that we're being done. But more than that as well, we're kind of hoping that we're not going to confine this to just large research projects by faculty members, but also that undergraduate students can come on and be inspired by other undergraduates' research, and hopefully then get involved in doing research projects themselves that they might not have actually considered beforehand. We also want it to become a tool to actually demonstrate the global reach of our new campus and show that, in fact, although we're a relatively new campus, we are already working and have recognition internationally. And finally, we're hoping it'll become a tool for the institution, for UBC itself, to actually begin to visualize the spread and the focus of its own research engagement. And obviously, as the project matures over time, they'll be able to see as well how certain areas have become prioritized over time. I encourage you to get online and to play with the tool. Obviously, you will, if you have more questions as well, to direct them to Nick and Kirsten. I know Nick's presentation coming up will explain quite clearly some of the work we're doing. And thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoy it. Bye-bye.